Folks, thanks for joining us. I'm guessing that the folks that are here now just came here from the premiere. The chat is still going on over there, so just give me a minute. Love Audrey teleported over. That's good. That's good. Like that. Okay. Hello, V. So I can't tell you folks enough how much I appreciate you all for joining us. I want to make a post on the chat before it ends, because it ends abruptly. So I'm going to put a message there because we talked a lot about addiction and recovery, and the message doesn't fit. Okay, so just give me a second, folks. What? So I am adding that, and then I am adding the link. If I can get back to what I was doing, it's also frantic now. Okay, there we go. What's going to happen is the chat in the premiere is going to end abruptly, and I wanted to be sure and post that link to our recovery series. The recovery series is so important because when people who connect with these poisoning stories because they are in recovery or because they want to be in recovery, it's so important for them to be aware that there's a whole series of recovery stories. We have 2 more to add very soon. And it's important to share with them the link. And I'm going to give you guys the link too. Our recovery series, here's the link. Oh, Ren, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thank you. It chokes me up. It really does. That's holy cow. I'm very grateful. Seems to me that the families that get justice through the courts are lucky. It must help. Yeah, it must. They call it closure. I think that there's feeling like there was a consequence, that some sort of justice came about for the family that lost someone, I think is important. Sometimes justice finds its way in odd paths. Okay, V, how are you doing? That's a good question, Brenda. Appreciate you guys joining us. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure if Corrine is here or not. Corrine, are you here? Corrine, the storyteller from the premiere that just finished, and oddly enough, still has 280 people watching. Corrine, also known as George, is here with us. I appreciate you being here. It was certainly a tough story to tell. Yeah, I figured that out, Corrine. V, I just left detox. It's quite a struggle. Plus, it's hard to see. You need glasses. Okay. But you saw the premiere, okay, I hope. It's quite the struggle. Here's the thing, the you Brad, so good to see you here. The I having a support system is vital. The support system can be AA or NA, a group thing like that, where you have a sponsor who you have some accountability to. And it can be anything else where you have some accountability to. Whatever works for you, whatever's important in your life that you can be accountable to, the support is vital. And I hear that over and over again with the people that I talk to that are in recovery. So if you send me an email, I will email you a link to a story that is not public yet. But I don't know, just what you're saying makes me think of this story that I just finished this morning. But I can send you a link if you'd like. It's a cool guy. He's got this tattoo across his neck that says sinner. It's a good story. It's very direct. And so send me an email, info@texas-pictures.com, and I'll send you a link to the story. It will be public on our channel in a few days. V, I'm following your channel closely, Glenn. I promise I'll go to my classes and email you. Good, good. Info@texas-pictures.com. Let me go back a little bit here. We saw Brad. Brad, thank you. Uh, I hope Carla's doing well. It was way cool to see Carla have that interaction with Jelly Roll. I still have such a hard time taking serious calling someone Jelly Roll. But aside from that, it's awesome. The interaction was really wonderful. Nux Sandwich. I absolutely appreciate your channel. I lost my brother to addiction and try to watch signs in my children. I appreciate your advice and the stories. Well, thank you, Nux. I appreciate that a lot. I really, really, just appreciate it a lot. Anita Lawless. Gosh, I have a Facebook Messenger message from you, don't I? Brenda, you can do it. Take it easy. You don't. And if you don't do 12 step, that's fine. Don't. If it's not for you, don't. It doesn't have to be for you for sobriety to be for you. It's definitely within reach. We get to hear so many wonderful stories about recovery. Let me catch up here. Okay. Nux, you tell him. Nux Sandwich. Nux, do I know you? Are you in Dallas? Maybe. Lorraine, my daughter has been in and out of rehab for 20 years. I have her children. This helps me so much. Glenn, I don't feel alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. You should look at our recovery series. Right now there is I want to say 33 or 34 recovery stories. And they're all different. They all have their own insight. Some say great things about AA and NA and 12 steps. Some say they didn't need it. Some say they went in and out of rehab 4 or 5 times or more. There is stories that can be useful and create some hope. Maybe share, Lorraine, maybe share with your daughter. If she isn't interested in watching them, you can ask her to watch one because you're questioning the accuracy. I've heard of parents doing this with kids. They'll say, "Hey, I saw this thing, and I'm wondering, is this really accurate?" So then you're empowering whoever to be an expert by giving you their input on something. But in the course of doing all that, they have to watch it. Maybe it's a little bit devious. I don't know, but it works. So let me catch up. Holy cow. Brad, there's a law they're trying to pass, which would require 6th to 12th graders to get counseling on fentanyl, named Rain's Law. Rain's Law. Gee, Brad. Law, is that a federal law, state law? Where's that going on? That's awesome. Are you guys involved in that any kind of way? Thank you, Nux. Okay, Nux, I asked yeah, yeah, being vigilant. Parents have to be vigilant, but there's no way. There's no way parents can see everything. You can't. It would be a nightmare if you could. It'd be a nightmare for the child growing up if you could. But looking for the clues. That's and the clues are different. It's the big clue that I've learned about in the course of meeting all of these people. The big clue that I've learned is a change. Is that something changes and something becomes out of the ordinary for your loved one. Brenda, you are so kind. Brenda's awesome. I just pray it helps prevent just one family from feeling and experiencing this devastation. Very nice, Corinne. Very nice. Brenda, I did inpatient rehab 3 times over the years. Never made it past a few months once I got home. The user has to want it more than the air they breathe. They do. They do. They have to want it or it's not going to work. People in addiction, they're still sharp, creative people. They know how to say the right things. So they have to genuinely want it. Most do want it. Yes, I think so. But it's still this nightmare of a struggle. Arizona, I'm guessing that's Beth. I'm guessing. So, Vicky, recovery is possible if you want it, but it's a hard road, but so worth it. Folks, we're gonna have a recovery story go public probably tomorrow. Recovery stories never get the attention that the fentanyl stories do, and they should. It's so important for people to understand the road to recovery, to understand the pathways, to understand the challenges. to understand the possibilities and understand the risks. So please watch it, give it the thumbs up, and share it, repost it on social media, do whatever to get the message out there. Nux, my mother. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what happened there, but okay. Nux, my mother is an active addict. My grandmother, my grandparents as well, my brother. So I just try to talk to them every day and let them know they can tell me anything. We will work through it. So that's really a lot, Nux. Letting them know you're there can be a motivator. It can be inspiring. It can also create a little bit of accountability, a kind of if I do this, Nux is going to know, or whatever your real name is, and that creates accountability, and accountability is a major contributing factor in recovery for a lot of people. They're accountable to a sponsor, or they're accountable to a family member, or multiple family members, or they're accountable to their employer, or accountable to God. It's it's uh, it's a great thing. So we do recover. We can and do recover. That's right, Beth. I know that. We've done a lot of recovery stories. And yes, of course, it's Beth. Brad, has the law passed or is it just in session? I'm in Oklahoma and I'm struggling to get a fentanyl awareness in my local public school. Pat said, I don't think for us on the outside of addiction, I don't think it's possible to truly understand addiction. Maybe we understand that it's urgent and it's dangerous, and we understand that it's a desperate circumstance. We do understand that, and we can understand that. But to grasp the depth of whatever addiction it is, the depth of the grip that it has on the addict, we can only guess. My recovery since 1998 and can be accomplished. Good job, Vicky. Good job. And sharing that with people here is a wonderful way to share hope. That's very cool. I agree, Pat. Their brain chemistry is different. Yes, Corinne, it physically changes brain chemistry. At least opioids do. Brad says, I think it's still in session. KFOR interviewed Carla the other day. It will be called Rain's Law. I think that's wonderful. That is, ah, it's wonderful. So, Brad, you said KFOR interviewed Carla the other day. I love that expression, the other day. It implies that there's only two, today and the other day. You guys got to understand, I have a good time giving Brad a hard time. So I have to love at a distance, but will be the biggest cheerleader they can recover. My brother, unfortunately, couldn't beat it. Addiction affects the whole family. I never make any of them feel less. I understand what you're saying, Nux. Addiction is a far reaching thing. It's far reaching into the family, even if the family isn't aware it's happening. It still affects the personal relationships between the person in the addiction and the family members that are close to that person. Even if the family members don't know why, it's still impacting family members. It's hurting a lot of people. Brenda, Pat, I was really father. My older sister was an addict until she found AA, and I loved them both and thought I understood addiction until my active addiction began at 42, 42 to 57. Hmm. That is, that's that's tough. Uh, by the time you get to your 40s, you feel like you've got a good bit of things figured out. You don't, but you feel like you do. I can say that because I'm in my 60s. So good job, Brenda. Brad, thanks. I know who to call. I was a law librarian for the state of Oklahoma until I retired to care for my paralyzed daughter. Good job. Nux says anyone in here making the choice to remain sober, congratulations. And I'm proud of you. I agree. It's such a huge victory. So here's a way to get a tiny understanding of addiction from Brenda. Put all of your electronic devices into the safe and see how many times you want to go retrieve them. But remember, you can't because it's a drug. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't. I don't want to. Congrats to everyone on the battle, not the fight, the battle. Yeah, it's all about the battle. So I probably shouldn't do that. Never mind. Let me say, Carla struggles every day and it kills me. I just pray she can find some happiness. So you guys that you guys that are here, you're familiar with Rain's story on our channel. This is Brad. Brad is Brad is in the story. And so is Carla. Carla's Rain's mother. Thanks. I believe it takes a strong person to remain sober because, in actuality, you're choosing to be sober. Be proud of yourself. Mighty insightful there, Nux. Good job. Brenda, every day is a blessing. So happy to be. That's the key. One of the recovery stories that I was working on this morning, the storyteller says basically the same thing. That I'm high on life, and life's an awesome, precious thing. Uh, uh, Anahia, thank you. Alcohol is a beast. Yes, Nux. Alcohol can certainly be a beast, and it's so common. That's got to compound the challenge for some people, since you can see it all over the place. You see ads for it. You see billboards. All the nice restaurants have bars. Rough thing. Are you, Mimi? Are you laughing at me for how I said your name? Is that what's going on here? Vicky, my recovery was accomplished through AA, which is a wonderful program. Jesus was my main help. I love my life now. Yes. JS, I need to catch up, but I just wanted to say hi. I remember Rain's story. What a beautiful girl and a lovely family, sending love and prayers to you all. Keep the dialogue going. Thank you, Glenn. I'm here for you guys. We're in the fight until the fight is done. Sorry for your loss, Pat. Sorry for your wife's loss. Addiction is dying a little each day. Alcohol is everywhere, and society doesn't treat alcoholism as addiction. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Maybe you can hear my wife. She's yeah. So society glorifies alcohol in social settings. If alcohol is available and you're not drinking, that that draws question. Why are you not drinking? And that's kind of weird. It ought to not work that way. Al-Anon, I can speak to Nux. Thank you for joining our. Thank you for becoming a member. That's wonderful. We try to do special things for members whenever we can. We had a live event that was just for members before the premiere that just happened, and we'll probably do another one of those where we're kind of go through some of the behind the scene photos that we have from the different locations where we've been shooting. Uh, did your family have a good time at Disney? Yeah, yeah, they did. They came back full of stories and pictures and cool stuff. I'd show you the mug if it was here. Oh, Nux. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, I appreciate what you're doing, Nux. So I want to remind all of you that you guys are welcome to email me anytime. Yeah, I'm gonna put our. This is our. This is. It seems like a catch-all account, but it isn't. All that comes into this email account, that email address right there, info at texas-pictures.com, is all that comes into that is fentanyl related stuff that's mostly from YouTube, some from Facebook or TikTok, but mostly from YouTube. I was that was commendably, just spectacularly nice, Knox. That was awesome. So sometime soon, we're gonna do a live members only kind of event, and try to have a good time with that. It'll be a little bit different. It'll be a little more laid back, and not that this isn't late. Forget it. It'll be it'll be just for members. It'll be good. Now I support because this information and these stories are vital information. I appreciate the insight. When we started doing these fentanyl stories, I barely knew anything about fentanyl. And we started learning about them because the DEA hired us to make some stories. A lot of you have probably already heard this story, but they hired us to make some of these stories at a family summit that the DEA put on here in Houston. And from that point on, I've been learning, and it's kind of scary how much I've learned. And I want to keep learning. I want to keep sharing. I want I want to make a difference. It's a wonderful thing, Knox. So, does anyone have any questions they want to pose to me? And that's my way of saying I don't know what to talk about now. So, asking you guys, are there questions? Anybody have any questions? We're going to be coming up. We're on to Florida, South Carolina. I'm pretty sure we're going to wind up back in Virginia sometime soon. Right, Pat? And then we're probably going to be in Massachusetts. We've also had inquiries from Los Angeles and San Diego. And I know, well. Yeah. I know I'm forgetting Massachusetts and what am I forgetting? But we get more inquiries every day. On average, we get 2 inquiries from people who want to share their story about losing a loved one or about addiction recovery. 2 stories, 2 inquiries per day, every day. Daisy Michaels, thank you. Thank you for joining us as a sponsor. That's awesome. It means a lot. The memberships, it means a lot. It helps the channel. It helps the channel grow because it makes the channel look better in the eyes of the YouTube algorithm that decides what to recommend next to viewers. And so it helps us. All the content that we're publishing on YouTube is self-funded. We don't have sponsors or we don't have any grants. We don't have a client. We don't have all we have is the revenue that comes from YouTube, which is enough to keep everything sustainable. But it's not a lot. And my son is the addict, not me. I'm sure it will still be helpful info, Brenda. Good job. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. Taylor, I found you on TikTok. Grateful I did. I'm grateful you're here. Yeah, we're on TikTok too, and TikTok is. I don't feel like I have a good grasp on TikTok, but we keep putting content on there, and I have someone who helps me with that, and I'm grateful to him. So, Pat, well. Okay, that's a little bit vague. I'm just saying it's a little vague. Celebrate recovery is for everyone, for sure, absolutely. There are two recovery stories in our series that have had a relapse since making their story. One of them is in one of them is incarcerated now. Yeah, Pat, I know. I'm coming to Virginia again. This will be the third time, and that's awesome. That we hear from. We actually. I'm just going to sneeze in a minute here. Oi. Okay. We've heard from quite a few people from Virginia that seem to be unrelated to your efforts, Pat. We're hearing from Virginia, and we're hearing from people in West Virginia too, and they're talking about how how serious it is. Brad, it's wonderful what you do, but what made you start doing these videos and show all the? Oh gosh, Brad, we started. I kind of talked about it a little bit before. We started doing them at that DEA Family Summit here in Houston, and they really took off. So it seemed important to continue doing them. And I feel very blessed to have this chance to do this kind of work. I met so many wonderful people, and I get to give people a chance to pull some little bit of value out of this terrible, horrendous loss that they've been through. And there's this wonderful reward to getting to do that. So it's easy to be motivated to keep doing it. Appreciate you, Brad. Give you a lot of grief, but I appreciate you a lot. Remember the thumbs. Yeah, your junkie brain is healing. Okay, is that? I guess that's good news. Junkie brain. That's new. Brenda, you seem very much like you are on it. Like you were really on it. You're on task. You're motivated. You're on it like Oprah on a baked ham. You're on it like a rat on a Cheeto. Nug sandwich, I do want to say being angry with an addict doesn't help them. You have to find a place between anger and enable. Anger fuels guilt, which fuels more escape seeking. Love without enabling. Just my opinion. That's a wonderful point to make, Nux. That getting angry, it can be a real challenge with someone in addiction Because sometimes when you interact with them, you know they're not being straight with you for whatever reason, and letting that work is enabling. Challenging it can easily lead to anger. It's a tough spot. But awesome point. Being angry with someone, being angry with an addict hurts the addict and doesn't do you any good either. Be frustrated and you can feel like there's nothing you can do, but don't be angry. Anger doesn't help. I have 3 young children. I will educate them with all the information I have learned from this channel. Now, Taylor, there is other information out there too. Okay, there was a commenter once who said, he said something like, "You can't trust mainstream media anymore. I get all of my information from this channel and Tucker Carlson." Uh, I didn't know what to say to that, but I know there's a compliment in there. But anyway, Knox, truer words were never spoken. If I had $1 for every time my husband yelled at me, I would never worry about money again. Well, it's a human innate. That's thunder. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is. The weather is going pretty bad here, so anger is a very understandable human emotion too. The frustration that the people close to an addict feel is challenging to deal with. And I'm not saying anger is the right response. I'm just saying it's a natural reaction. Being angry only adds to the shame. Yes, for sure. Anger towards the addict pushes them a direction you don't want them to go. You see, Anita, no, I don't see. Okay, I'm looking. I'm trying. I'm trying. Anita, my question about 6 up above. I'm not seeing it, Anita. I've gone back more than 6. Maybe you need to ask me again. So, really grateful for you, Nux. Have you been present with any of these live events before, maybe under a different name? Anita, I don't see it. Maybe you need to repeat the question. If you can see it, you can copy and paste it. But I'm looking for it. I really am. I'm not seeing Sunshine 888. It's unfortunate there was a cremation. I think a second, third opinion from a medical examiner. Yes, Sunshine, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I missed your message before. I remember trying Adderall in college. I had no idea what it is. Well, thank you, Taylor. Thank you. And Sunshine, I'm really sorry I missed your message. That is that's insightful. I appreciate you watching. It certainly says that you paid attention to the story. That's great. Anita, maybe you can repeat your question. Is that crazy? Okay. Oh, some of the things people send me. Jeez. Anita, please give me the question again. I don't see it. Let's see. Good job, Nux. Good job. That's awesome. I scrolled to the beginning and didn't see the question. Please ask again. Thank you, Brenda. It's not just me. It's not just me. Anita, I see that on Facebook Messenger, you sent me a video clip that has a doctor in front of a clip from the documentary called Dead on Arrival. And I was just asking if you ever were able to watch the YouTube video that I sent you of Bruce Rivers about the son Michael. No, I haven't done that yet. But I got it right here. Augsburg Family Spotlight, Bruce 91 and Michael Rivers. It's I'm on it. I'm not, just hadn't happened yet. Nux, happy to have you here. I appreciate you being here. We try to do these live events after pretty much every premiere. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes a premiere happens while I am not in the office, where I'm able to attend the premiere just on my phone, wherever my phone is. And so I'm just doing it like this, and that just doesn't particularly work out very well. And so we don't do the live events like that. I can't imagine just holding doing thing. I just nah. I'm not gonna. So I appreciate you guys a lot. I know I kind of keep saying that, but this is so living the dream for me. I am getting to create content that's important. Hopefully, it's helping people. I know the process helps storytellers. Maybe it only helps them for a little while, but that's still a big deal. So I'm very much living the dream, getting to do this, getting to contribute something. So I'm grateful. You guys help make it all possible. Okay. I don't think any person wakes up and chooses to be an addict. It's an escape at first. And so you realize it's full blown addiction. It's a disease, not a choice, again, in my opinion. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's an escape. Some people, it's just a simple trying to have fun. We interviewed a former White House drug czar, and that was one of the things that he talked about. And he was a great interview. He was a White House drug czar under Nixon and Ford, so he's really old. And what that means is he doesn't have a filter anymore. He doesn't have any job to protect. He's not. He is just laying it out. He is just very bluntly, comfortably, conversationally explaining, yeah, here's the way it is. Uh, Thank you so much, Nux. So grateful for all you're doing for us here. This is, I don't, well, you have our email. Feel free to, feel free to reach out. So here's some things I want to share with you guys. Some of you have already seen this, I'm sure, but there's a page on our website that explains how storytelling summits work. And I wanted to share that link with you guys again in case anyone's curious. I need at the beginning of my recording, I felt guilty for every my recovery. I felt guilty for every fentanyl poisoning death. If I felt if I hadn't funded my addiction, the deaths wouldn't have occurred. I have channeled that guilt into action. It's all about what's ahead of you. Action is ahead of you. Action matters. So, folks, here's a link to a page on our site that talks about how our storytelling summits work. I'm not I'm not trying to promote more summits. We're always glad to do summits anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, as long as we can make it happen. And but I think some of you might find the page interesting. It's it's got some good information about how the process works. Next time, I will try to have some pictures from behind the scenes that I can share with you guys while we do the live thing. And I also wanted to share with you guys. Also wanted to share with you guys the what is it? There it is. A video called the Storyteller Experience. It doesn't really get a whole lot of views, but it is interviews with several storytellers, and it talks a little bit about what the experience is like when we do these interviews. And so there's a link to that story. Anita, so I don't, what? Camera? Come on. I'm right here. Okay. Is it, I put my hand here, it gets confused. I don't know. So anyway, thanks, Nugs. So what inspired me to do what I do? This has really always been my dream. I really, I really live in my dream. When I was in college, I was a journalism major. I studied film making and photography. And journalism is where my passion was. But you also have to make a living. And so my first job, real job, career, like professional job, was a video producer for an oil field service company. And I wound up staying in that business for about 20 years. So in the course of doing that, let's see if I can't share with you. I don't know if it's even here. Oh yeah. So in the course of doing that, I learned a lot. I built a skill set and all of that. And once in a while, working for oil and gas companies, I got to do some stuff that was more humanitarian, more. In 1993, I got to go to the former Soviet Union and make a documentary. I got to see things that probably no American with a broadcast video camera has ever seen. And since then, now and then, there's been other stories, training and safety videos that involve terrible accidents that are interview based. And so I did all that, and in the course of all that, I got to travel quite a bit. And so there is the places that I've been on business, and that doesn't count any of the fentanyl poisoning series. This was all before that. So kind of got around, but my passion was always human stories, stories that might save lives, stories that might help people with whatever, stories that contribute in some kind of way. And so as the story progressed, as the story progressed, as the years went on, eventually I established Texas Pictures. That was in 2007. And little by little, we started doing more stories that matter and less industrial production. Industrial production is wonderful. I have learned so much by traveling that, that it just it changes how you view the world, because you're looking at the world from all different angles, all different places. So anyway, I don't mean to ramble. So started Texas Pictures in 2007. Started working with the Houston Police Department. Some helped them with a family violence campaign and some DWI stuff. Made a DWI documentary with the Houston Police Department, and then another one. Did some other documentaries. More and more, we got to be known for those kinds of stories. And that was where my heart was. So I kept pursuing them and kept looking for opportunities, donated our time on a lot of projects. Just grateful to get to do it. So, so we got to where we were pretty well known among local area law enforcement as a resource for productions, and that's what led the DEA to hire us to do the fentanyl stories at a family summit that they put on here in Houston in November of 2022. And since then, we've just kept doing those kinds of stories and other stories that matter. Where two or more gather in his name, he is present. Well, he must be present here. So, Glenn, what number passport are you on? I'm on number 4. They expire, and those stars go way back. They go back before Texas Pictures. But those are all places that clients have sent me to create stuff for them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It changes how you look. I'm going to share with you guys a quote from Mark Twain. Mark Twain. Mark Twain. Here it is, and I'm going to show it to you. I keep it on my desktop. This is it. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all one's lifetime. That says a lot right there, what Twain has to say. So I wanted to share that. Amen, Nux. What number of passport? I'm on passport 4. I have a couple of expired passports that are full of stamps. Yes, people do enter your life for a reason, for sure, Nux. It's got to be. If you don't find the reason they entered your life, you're not paying attention. I think that's. Yeah, it is. It is. It's a way cool Mark Twain quote. I kind of love quotes. There's some. My favorite quote: "Make someone smile and help at least one person." That's it. That's enough. That's a lot. Nux. Make someone smile and help at least one person. There. Gee, Nux, how many people have you helped just in this event? Good job. So quotes. I'm going to share another quote with you guys. This is my favorite quote. It's from Teddy Roosevelt, and it's about credit. Theodore Roosevelt. Maybe some of you have heard it. I don't care. I'm going to tell it to you anyway. And it's edited a little bit. I dropped a couple of sentences out. Theodore Roosevelt said that the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself for a worthy cause, who at the best knows the triumph of high achievement, who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. And that's my favorite quote. So, okay, where am I at? I didn't mean to get you guys to stop talking. So I showed you that. We're gonna get that out of the way, and I'm just gonna slide this over here. And the beautiful gal. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you. It's the awesome. It's it's an awesome quote. I've used it in video projects before, even. Nope. I mean it. Wrong thing. Wrong thing. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? That's Brad. Good one, Brad. I promised God when my daughter was diagnosed with cancer that I would make three people laugh every day if He let me keep her. Well, that's awesome. Failure is not defeat; it's a lesson. It's what you grow from. If you don't grow from it, that's failure. This too shall pass. So, folks, here is the places that we have been recording stories for the fentanyl poisoning series. I just thought I'd share this. Some of you have seen this before, but it's updated now to include Albuquerque and Phoenix. And this is what we've done so far in 22 months, really more like 18 months. Of the last 100 episodes, well, when we started doing this, most of the stories came from Texas because Texas is the most within reach for us because we're in Houston. And so most most of the first year or so were stories from Texas. Within the last year, within the last 100 stories in the fentanyl poisoning series, only four of them are from Texas. My dad always told us look for the lonely person and be their friend. Yeah, that's good. Help the lonely person. Ren, I'm so grateful as well. I'm humbled and grateful to meet each of you today. Knox, 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 you live in Alabama? We had an inquiry from uh, maybe Montgomery not long ago. Maybe Montgomery. So So I was saying, for me, I'm very much living the dream, getting to do this kind of work. From a filmmaker perspective, it's real storytelling. It's important. It's heartfelt. It's all the best stuff. But holy cow, it helps people. It helps the storytellers. I met so many awesome people in the course of doing this. No, we are in this fight until the fight is done. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. The idea, the idea with these stories, with all the stories, and I think ought to be any filmmaker's first priority is to be invisible. Bugs me when I have to include my question in a story so that the viewer can understand the storyteller's answer. It's a little bit of a failure on my part, I think, but it just bugs me. It's just a filmmaker guy saying, uh, not a big deal. So we're going to try something here. For those of you, for those of you who would like to share your story with us at some point, the best way to do that is for you to join our private Facebook group. And our private Facebook group is made up primarily of people who have shared their stories with us and people who want to share their stories with us. So if you're in either one of those, am I allowed to count this as a meeting? Yeah, it's okay with me. I'll vouch for you. I can't give you the little PO stamp, but uh, yeah. Yeah, it seems like it could be a meeting, right? All right. Oh, Mary just caught the premiere. How about that? Yeah, it's a tough story, isn't it? So I am going to share. I'm going to share a link here, and the link is a way for any of you to join our. Yeah, good job, Stacey. The link will be a way for any of you to join our private Facebook group if you want to share your story at some point, or you've already shared your story and it's published on our channel. So we use the group as a way for everyone to stay connected. Whenever we have an event, we announce it in the group first so that anyone who is in whatever area we're going to can get first crack at signing up to share their story. So here is the link for those of you who might want to share your story or who have already shared their story with us. Yeah, if you're not part of the group, you can join it that way. That should work. It'll be, I don't know what's going to happen because it's a private group. You can't find it by searching for it. V, you're new to meetings and struggling. Here's the thing about meetings. I have been to a couple of AA meetings and I have been to quite a few Al Anon meetings, and just listen, which is also how a lot of the interviews in our storytelling series go. I just listen. V, if this has fulfilled your heart and you've received what you need from the meeting, I say yes. But again, just my opinion, you know yourself best. Well, that's a good answer, Knox. It should count as a meeting if it helped you like a meeting would help you. It shouldn't be a way to escape a meeting. I promise, Glenn, and I promise I will. Good deal. We are we are here for you guys. So we have, I say silent for 91 days, too emotional to share. Stacy, I saw where Nux gifted 5, but my name wasn't there. Mary, I think that's because you're already a member. Maybe. I don't know. So, Nux, Nux, awesome. Nux, you gotta keep in touch. Really, feel free to email, uh, post comments on stories. Comments, comments on stories help the story. They help how the story performs. It tells the YouTube algorithm that people are engaging with the content, and so it really helps. Sorry, really helps a lot. Then I stopped going on day 120 when an alcoholic told me NA would be a better fit. Well, that's a weird thing. 'Cause addiction, a lot of qualified people who know way more than me have told me that addiction really isn't about the substance. It doesn't matter if it's opioids or it's alcohol or it's benzos or whatever. It just doesn't matter. Addiction is addiction. And so culturally, NA meetings are a little bit different from the AA meetings. Well, that's interesting, Nux. I had no idea. I didn't know how that worked. I am learning so much. So, does anybody else have questions for me? We have been here over an hour. Wow. So interesting. AA was softer around the edges. I can see that. I can certainly see that. That makes a lot of sense. So, Anita, are you still here? Do, 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 do. Yeah, AA and NA both. I mean, the key, even beyond that, finding the meeting, finding the group that is the right fit for you. You may go to an AA meeting at one place and then go to one at another place, and just find the one that's your best fit. AA or NA doesn't matter, but softer around the edges. I like that. I can definitely see how that could be the case. No, I have something else I want to share with you right here. Graphics. Knox, you're spoiling us. I'm so grateful to have you with us here, and appreciate your spirit. Very very grateful. Yeah, a group. It's just finding the group that suits you. Some some groups will work better than others. You love my jacket. Yeah, it's like that because it's Arctic in this house right now. Well, I mean, it's Arctic here at Texas Pictures World headquarters right now. So, can I see you? No, I can't. I can't see a list of who all is contributing, who all is part of the chat. I want to remind everybody to subscribe to the channel, give the thumbs up to whatever. I see we have uh, 25 thumbs up, and we have substantially more than that watching right now. So please, thumbs up. Come on, thumbs up, please, please. Yes, I did ask if you were still here because you sent me that. You sent me the video of the doctor with the within the background a clip from a documentary called Dead on Arrival, and I saw that. I've already seen that, and I actually posted on it because of how the storyteller page worth of the Virginia. No, feel free to share, Pat. Please feel free to share. So, Anita, so what I was saying is I'd already seen that video, and I recognized it uh, from the Dead on Arrival documentary. That's one. I'm part of an organization called Fentanyl Fathers, and we use that documentary in presentations in high schools and middle schools all over the country. And so I'm very familiar with Dead on Arrival. So the doctor talks about Narcan, and whenever I hear someone talk about Narcan, it bugs me a little bit because Narcan is just a brand name. The drug in Narcan is called Naloxone. So I have this picture to show. Well, and look at that. So, what the caption says, it says all equally effective. Only one says Narcan. Yeah. So if you look at these, there's Naloxone right there. Naloxone. Naloxone. We come down here, right there. It says Naloxone, and here's Narcan. It also says Naloxone, and here's the Walgreens version. Also says Naloxone. Only one of these says Narcan, and all of them. I want to just hammer this point down. Only one of those boxes said Narcan. All of them, all of them, and others out there on the market are equally effective. Narcan is a common term, and holy cow, it's a better name. It is so easy to say Narcan. Narcan has even evolved to the point where it's used as a verb. A verb. They Narcaned him twice, you know. And I have a marketing background, and I know what a spectacular victory that is for the pharmaceutical company that makes Narcan. But they all work equally well. Equally well. Thank you, Mary. They all work equally well. And I can just imagine two partiers who are a bit impaired looking at their friend who's overdosing on the floor, and they've got a box that says naloxone on it, but doesn't say Narcan. And all those two friends have ever heard about is Narcan. And one says, well, it'll probably work. And the other one says, no, man, it needs to be Narcan. They're not they're not clear-headed anyway. And so because all they've heard is Narcan, they could stand there and argue while their friend dies on the floor. So it's really kind of a big deal. Naloxone, even though it's not nearly as cool of a word, is the right word. All right. All right. So I'll settle down now and we'll get back to other stuff. So I see Buck Jones. That is a new name. Hello. Hello. I regularly watch Peter Santinello, who recently visited Phoenix Recovery. Are you familiar with his YouTube channel? No. Doesn't ring any bells. He has various subjects, but has done several on fentanyl. Awesome. We were just in Phoenix 4 or 5 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. I don't know. We were in Phoenix. We're in Phoenix and Albuquerque. No, it sounds interesting, Buck. So I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. We have been live for almost 90 minutes. I am so elated that you folks joined us, and let's see where we're at. Yes, Buck, I will try to. Recently visited Phoenix Recover. Should I know about Phoenix Recover? Chris, thanks for joining us. Okay, Kensington, we are talking about visiting Kensington and sorting out the best way to go about doing that. So I imagine we are getting short on time. So bye-bye, V. Thanks for joining us. My husband thinks naloxone should be limited to a number per person for their lifetime. Hmm. That's an interesting perspective, Brenda. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a good idea. There's always hope. There's always Sometimes people get revived. Sometimes people need 3 or 4 doses of naloxone before before it works. So would that be one, or would that be that would yeah? And so if they were limited to how many they could have, oh boy. All right, so per OD. Okay, I understand. I understand. Buck, I'm glad you found us too. I appreciate you being here. We have we have a series on addiction recovery. We have a series on human trafficking. We also have a series called American Peace Officer, and we have a series that we're starting about domestic violence. That's going a little bit slow. We're developing the format. We have one story shot and hope to publish it in the next week or two. So yeah, I kind of lean towards giving naloxone out like candy until there's no more demand. Yeah, I've heard there's a problem with naloxone and how some people will try to get to the point where they overdose to be revived because it's a bragging right or there's some kind of extra high to doing that. Yeah, I can't imagine any way to set a number per life because sometimes, yeah, people need many doses for one OD. Here's an interesting thing. Let me see if I can get back to that graphic with the this right here. Here's an interesting thing about these options. All of these are 4 milligrams of naloxone, Narcan. This one. They're all 2 doses, and they're all 4 milligrams per dose, except Cloxado. This one down here is 8 milligrams. You see right there, 8 milligrams. There's a study, there's research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association that concludes that a higher dose may act a little more quickly. May. It's inconclusive. But when we're talking about hypoxia, a few seconds makes a difference. There's also some harm reduction folks who are critical of Cloxado and the higher dose because with a higher dose, you're more likely to put the victim straight into withdrawal. And I don't get that. I don't get the logic of that mattering. Why would that matter? Withdrawal. The effects of naloxone can wear off in somewhere between 15 and 45 minutes. So I have been told. And so having to endure 15 to 45 minutes of withdrawal instead of dying doesn't really seem like that big of a thing. But I don't know. I know that some harm reduction people are pretty down on Cloxoto because it's a higher dose. It seems counter harm reduction to me to be down on any solution that can reverse an overdose. Well, that's just me. All right, folks. We cannot naloxone ourselves, so most of us are doomed because we isolate in our addiction. Yes, that's right. You can't administer it yourself. The symptoms of needing it, one of the first symptoms is unresponsive. So if you're unresponsive, what can you do? All right, folks. We've been here over 90 minutes, and it's probably going to be about time to wrap this up, but we will do this again very soon. And I really value all of your input. I see that right now we have 95 viewers, yet we only have 30 thumbs up. Come on, we could do better. The thumbs up help our channel. It helps encourage the YouTube algorithm to share our content with more people. And that's how we get the message out there. So, yes, and when withdrawal hits that hard, users tend to use more, which causes another OD. Now, next, that's a good point. Naloxone also wears off. The thing is, regardless of what dosage, anyone who's ever revived with naloxone needs immediate medical care. I can't stress that enough because it wears off. Someone could be revived, get up and say, "No, I'm fine," and go walk it off and drop dead down the street alone. It's happened. We have a story where that happened. So, yeah. So, it's a tough spot. But Cloxoto is still a solution that can save a life. So, anyway, folks, it is time to wrap this up. So I want to thank you all again for joining us, and we will be with. Let me just go through real quick to make sure I have it in per OD. I feel like it's a life-saving measure, but also in the sense of, well, if I OD, I can have that as a backup. Please don't yell at me. I'm not yelling at you, Nux. No, you're right. People look at it as a crutch, as some sort of safety net, and it isn't. It doesn't always work. What may seem like a fentanyl overdose, an opioid overdose, could have tranq involved, could have carfentanil involved, and naloxone doesn't work on those. It's not a sure thing. It's a gigantically important thing, but it's not a sure thing. Okay, so all right, folks. So one more time, I am going to share the link. Let's see if I still have it here. One more time, here's the link to join our Facebook group if you would like to share your story, or if you've shared your story with us and haven't made it to the group yet. So here is that link again. And if for some reason that doesn't work, you can find me on Facebook and friend me there, and then ask me to invite you again, and that'll work. or you can send me an email and we'll sort it out that way. But I am very grateful for all you folks being here, and we will be back live again in a couple of days. We'll try to do another live event that's just for members as well. So hope to see you guys again soon, and thank you very much for joining us. I'm very grateful that you're here. Thanks.